Here we are. Welcome to the front row seat. I'm going to say it today because it's so true. Welcome to the front row seat where it's all about you because you're doing it. And today, I'm so glad to bring Pamela. Y'all, everybody's met Pamela, and we have Pamela and her sister, Carol. Say hi to Carol, everybody.
Hi, Carol.
It's so good for you to be here, Carol. I don't, front row seat is kind of notorious of causing some face plants because we talk about anything. We're talking about trying to grow and evolve and get rid of fear on the front row seat because that's the journey that I embarked on, 10 years ago. And I'm still working on it because it is a work in progress for everybody. And we decided that go ahead and say the hard things because sometimes that really is what it's a shock to the system, but it's kind of how it gets in where we can change our reality in something better that we'd rather have than what we get sometimes, right?
Absolutely. So, and then along with that, it feels like that we're being honest with ourselves, right? We're being truthful with ourselves and facing that part of us or that belief or that fear or whatever terminology, but because that's massive. And then it's accepting that truth about yourself or that belief that we believe to be a truth, right? And facing that. And it's, we were just talking about face planting, and I have a lot of makeup on because I'm scraped. My face is scraped from face planting.
Yeah.
Like I would be in drug across the gravel for about 45 years. Well, we'll say 60.
So if I fall out of frame, that means I'm face planting. The fear.
We've been face planting a lot. But there's the other side of the coin. Yes, we're face planting. Everybody's face planting. Every time I look out into the world, I see the face plants, and it's just because that we are in I can't say the word fear. There's a lot of fear going around, and it's catchy, but it's really not catchy because it's within all of us. We all have this core center of us that is kind of based in fear because it's a lot of times it's the cultures we grew up in or whatever. It doesn't matter, we still have it. But in the process of getting rid of it, I've gotten rid of a ton of fear, and I'm still offloading it. And Carol and Pamela have offloaded a bunch of fear. We've been working together now. We realize 7 months now.
Yeah.
And it's like now when we get together to talk, it's not all face plant anymore. Now we're starting to get into other things, and it's getting quite funny because once you know, and once you know that your reality is here for you to learn from, and it's just showing you how you're doing. And once you start learning that it's not here to beat you up, it's just reflecting you back to you, then you can start using your reality in your favor and seeing if something comes up that makes you feel bad. Well, it's showing you right where the fear is, so you can get rid of it. And then that thing stops appearing in your reality. And 7 months ago, Carol, you were talking about you got a new job. You'd made all these changes in your reality. And you said, girl, I don't know. Every day I have to get my purse and go in there, and my eyes are bleeding fear. And because you just weren't used to it. It was a new job. But now look at you. You're just like, hey, I'm here. I'm Pamela, and I'm doing this thing. And it's just in 7 months, you've almost got that fear of what you're doing out of the way. Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing anyway.
No, it's very well said. And that because I really did have to muster up, I'm like a fierce force of will. I'm still doing that because I'm like, no, you have to face this. You have to go in there. You have to do this, because if you don't, you aren't going to grow through it. Right. Mm-hmm. And, there's still plenty that I am not aware of. Right. And there's just plenty that I don't know, that I haven't tapped into. But right, like what we shared with earlier, like the epiphany, you helped me with an epiphany. You've said it to me so many times, about, again, you're on the front row seat. You're doing it, right? Like seriously, we're doing it. And then just like, as we go through the layers, we can, that awareness, that understanding, expands to a place of today. When you share that, I can't remember the exact words you used, but I was like, oh my gosh, I had this epiphany of going, wait a minute. Okay. Because you can actually have the conversation of going, okay, I experienced this. That's my fear. But around that, we're actually creating it and having that epiphany and going, wait a minute, I am actually doing this. That's a huge shift. That's a huge shift in getting into that. I'm still processing it. I'm still processing it because it's that big. And I don't think I'll assimilate it for a long time, right? To act where it's actually naturally part of my being.
Yes.
Right? My being level.
Yes. And it is one of the steps, through the process when you start to come to, okay, what's manifesting in my reality is everything that I am afraid of, everything I love, everything I hate. It's me. It's a reflection of me. It's me. That's me. And it doesn't mean that it's all you, because it's a multiplayer game. There's other people doing things here too, but things that manifest. But it also manifests what you believe about yourself, like how you were thinking about that. You were talking about a dress that you wanted, and you saw it, and you liked it. It was something you liked, and you're putting that into your field, right? You're thinking it, and what was it? Not that long later, it ends up back in the department you work in, the dress that you were thinking about.
Yeah, it literally moved from the front of the store to the back of the store. Like it showed up, and that was very powerful for me.
And it was like you're starting to see how your reality is manifesting what you are thinking about.
Yes.
And then that rolls into why it's so important, because when I thought negative my whole life, I didn't even know I was doing that. Oh, all those poor people I knew. Oh my God. I didn't know that my perspective was all glass half empty, and I did have all that for a reason. I, created a lot of it so I can grow. But once I started seeing through a different lens of glass half full, then my reality started shifting again. So it's really everything you're thinking about. And I think, Pamela, what you're talking about, I'm just grasping it, is because this place has kind of a lag in it. And so we're thinking about something, we're focusing on it, then it'll show up maybe a week later. So we don't put the two and two together, unless you really keep thinking about it. I'm doing this. And then when something shows up, it's like, okay, if you think to yourself, then, okay, when was I thinking about that? Mm-hmm. Then you can trace it back, and you can, oh yeah, I was, it happened to me too. Last week, I was thinking about something, and then it just showed up on my trail, on my walk. There it was, laying there. I picked it up. I'm not gonna say what it was, but it was really cool what I found. and it was like, as soon as I picked it up, because I've been doing this for a while now, I picked it up. I went, what was I thinking about a vape? And then I was like, oh, I remember thinking about this, and I'd been thinking about getting one the week before. So it's like, yeah, what you focus on and what you think about is what comes out into your reality. And you can do it in real time. Like you can be on your way to the store, you can pull into the parking lot, and you can start thinking, oh yeah, that front row parking spot would be nice right about now. And 9 times out of 10, you'll pull up there and there'll be a spot empty. It freaks you out at first, but this is really how this place works. So it's really kind of good news.
It is, but it is intimidating because it's especially when you feel powerless, right? You have these beliefs that you're powerless, and then you actually start understanding that you're creating it, and it's like, whoa, 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 I'm not grown up enough for that shit. Laden, I'm scared.
And then you look around, you start realizing what you are creating, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not what I would never do that. And your thoughts would do that if that's what they're thinking,
Right.
It can only give you what you have.
Well, and I think that's the cool part too, is when you look at that and you're going, oh man, I really am creating it. And then when you do start really paying attention to what is in your reality, and you have the capacity to be accountable and honest with yourself, it makes all the difference in your process, right? And I understand that it is part of the process, but even to just get here to the process, it was like having to just go through that agonizing, brutal pain of the what I believed to be the control of my fears on my reality, right? Like I thought I was my fears. I thought I was my beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, transitioning out of that and into going, oh, I create, and I hold the power to create, and not power, obviously, in a negative sense, but in a sense of doing what we came here to do. And that is to, be part of the solution, the positive solution, and the growth and the expansion and love. And
evolve ourselves.
Exactly.
Because that's what this place is really good at. If you think about it, it tends to evolve people from a kind of this version of themselves into a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
It's what this place tends to happen to most people. If you really look around at people or in your experience, you can see how time and age has changed them in ways that makes them less fearful, more open, because that's what this place does. It's to help us do that, and getting rid of those fears, finding them within yourself, and then learning to not be so hard on ourselves too when we find that in ourselves. Yeah. Oh, I just found a monster in me. Oh no. It's like, well, but everybody has them. We all got these monsters that come out and pop out every now and then. Booga, booga, booga. But they're there for a reason. And when you find one and you see it, is turning some of, some good vibes on yourself. It's like, yeah, I'm doing my best here. I'm really trying to hang on to this hot potato. It's really hot. And this fear doesn't feel good. It's like, well, but you know what? I can face this. I can stand here and face this and learn about myself and get rid of it. I have the power to do that.
Yes. And that's a huge shift, right?
Mm-hmm. Because otherwise you're just on this boat and it feels like you're just adrift at this sea, and this stuff is just happening to you, and that is, take it, you can call it like victim mentality or right. Just not understanding, it's like, well, stuff is just happening to me, and it's like, when you can learn about life and learn about these things and how fear affects us and all that stuff, then you find out that that's not what's going on at all. Is, your reality is manifesting your fears and everything that you are here. And we're not bad because of these little monsters we have within us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the physical reality is real anyway. I think what we feel and who we are is what's real, as chi energy, consciousness energy here. That's what's real. That's what's creating everything. And, we don't have to feel bad about ourselves. Pamela and I, the last couple months, we had that stuff come up where it's like, oh my God, I don't have a very good opinion of myself.
Yeah.
Because, beating yourself up and saying, oh, this happened. And had I been a better person, or had I done something different, that wouldn't have happened, and it wouldn't have affected that over there or that person over there. It's we're all in it together to help each other learn where all this stuff's at, so we can deal with it. So it's turning some of that appreciation back on yourself.
Yeah.
Good job. It was really funny because I found this thing on my walk and I was thinking this, it's like, I've done a lot and it's improved my life, and I'm not, it's not my ego. Oh, look how great I am because of that. It's like, look how much better my reality has gotten because I did some of this fear work and look in at myself. I'm walking along the trail, and then I was just thinking, give yourself a hand. You did good. And I find this thing, and it's like a little hand thing, right? Give yourself a hand. It's like
That's
a little applause, yay.
I love it.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's playful.
Well,
Yeah.
and just, I mean, if just a beautiful little reminder of the things that show up that you create, right? You created, you're going, hey man, I am actually doing a good job, and showing yourself some appreciation and positivity, right? And then here that shows up. I mean, that's a prime example
of how you create, because I was thinking about it. And it was like, okay, now wait a minute. I've got this bucket over here, but I've also got these buckets over here that have a lot of good stuff in them. Those count too.
Yeah, exactly.
Too. And it's taking all of it. And it's like, in the most part, we aren't just horrible people going around just destroying everybody's life. We're just trying to get through our lives through this process. And yes, that does happen, but that's just where they are, and they'll figure it out or they won't. And at some point they will. And it's just everybody growing and evolving and getting rid of fear. And you can even see it all around, as it turns into more and more clown world as we go. It's almost like it's just forcing everybody to look at what are we feeling inside? What's really going on here,
And I agree, excuse me, that it really does come from the inside, because it's that, initially I'm like, oh my God, who can I blame? There's got to be some blame that I can put this on, whether it's my upbringing or here I am at this time in my life. And I'm going, well, I still want to have somebody be held responsible for my aches, it's the fears.
Yes.
And so that's where I'm kind of at, is going, oh my gosh. So as it reflects to me, I'm going, oh, remember, you're the conscious creator. You are always in it. There's no break. There's no, taking time off for it. And that's kind of cool, and hard.
And just giving yourself a hand every now and then, because and the two of y'all, I mean, I've really just been amazed at y'all, the journey that y'all have been on, and I feel honored to have gotten to kind of come along and observe and watch you two, and y'all just have been just facing that fear till your eyes are bleeding, and both of y'all are just becoming the people you two want to become, and it's been a very fun, enjoyable thing to watch you two and becoming, the potential of who you really are, because you're not your fears. That's not who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Those fears and that stuff, that's just beliefs that we have about stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not us. It's just we went through experiences where we got the wrong idea. A lot of times is what happened, right? Our parents were also busy, and they had all their problems and fears too. So things happen. So we're, we had these experiences where we got these beliefs that, oh, well, you don't matter, or you have no value here. I mean, just look at the richness and the full of your life. You've had children, and now they're having, you've got grandchildren now. It's like, no, your life was very valuable and needed, and it caused a lot of people to be able to evolve and move forward with their inner work, which is what we're here to do. So I think it's a massive success, especially just wanted to give you two a hand. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for your encouragement always. We
Oh,
always think of you so incredibly fondly, because there's always growth within the conversations.
Oh, always.
And, I walk away going, Team Carol, we're doing it, So.
yeah. And y'all are doing it. And, that's what I want to try to help give to others, and that's why I like to record and put this out there, is that there is something we can do. We're not stuck. There is something that we can do to get ourselves into a better feeling place. because when we have, a lot of fear within ourselves, it's not comfortable and it feels bad. But there is a way out, and the way out is in. And you just got to turn that focus back around and figure out what's going on in you. And that's how you get better. And, I've talked about, yes, we need to tell our story and tell it, but we can't dwell on it if it's, negative all the time, because then that puts you into a victim mentality. Then you can't move anywhere from there either. Right. Yes, some of us have all been victims of all kinds of things, but that's not who we are as a being. Who we are can overcome those things, and we can overcome these mistaken beliefs that we held about ourselves that weren't true, that we had no value and all those things, because they aren't true. And just learning and growing through this is going to, just bring so much more into your life, and especially clarity and understanding around, when I was really in the mix of it and I didn't, know what was going on. I was like, my God, what is all this shit?
Yeah. I don't want to.
Yeah. And the confusion of, because you could kind of sense things. It's like, oh, wait, I've seen that before. It's like, well, why? Because it came out of you the first time.
Yeah.
Because, if you hold the fear, well, it'll show up, then it goes away, and then it loops right back around again. There it is again. And which is good, gives you time to slow the momentum down of it. Then you can start getting it to slow down, ease the vibration of it, and then you can look at it, rationally and go, wait a minute, why am I holding that fear? Then you can I can let that fear go, because it's not, whatever it's around, if you can't find it, is not valid now. So there's no reason to feel like that. So,
and it is hard too, though, when you're learning that you're not your fears, but you're in them, and shifting from that belief that that's who you are, that those fears are you, right, to coming out of that stuff is really, really, and not to scare anybody from the work or anything, but I do think it's important to have it be known that it is difficult. It isn't. It's not simple. Warrior, right? The warrior isn't. It's like rites of passage. That's kind of how I look at it. I'm like, these are rites of passage that we have to. They're. It's you could call it ceremonial, where it's like just busting through these fears and waking up to the truth of who you are, and that's that warrior and that fierce force of will to allow yourself to experience that gift.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, hang on. I got to get something right quick. I'll be right back. Because sometimes if you don't have a warrior, you can have something else. Hang on.
Yeah, because it's true. Yeah. And for me, it's the practice to keep practicing with the self-talk, and to continuously, start being a grown-up for myself and going, I'm going to encourage you instead of, doing the opposite.
Absolutely. Okay, what you got?
When you're standing there dripping fear and you're going, I don't feel good, all you got to do is you got to get you one of these. This is called.
Oh my gosh, I thought of that today.
Yeah. Pamela sent this to me because this is one of the deals when I was deep in it. Yeah. Sometimes you just need a courage badge.
That's so awesome.
Courage badge, and you're looking at the fear, you go, and then you just put your courage badge on.
Truly,
I am the new sheriff in this inner town.
Yes, and those actually help to remind you to go, okay, wait a minute, no,
I'm not dying here. I'm not dying here. I'm feeling something uncomfortable.
Exactly.
You just got to put the courage badge on. Encourage, and every time you face it, then that courage muscle gets a little stronger.
Yes.
Then you can come out swinging.
Truly. Yeah. And that is the absolute truth. It's like the more you exercise it, the stronger it does get. And again, it's hard because we don't know. We don't know what it's like to be on the other side of that, right? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm getting again a taste of it. Like little by little, I'm getting a little bit more and more and more, and it is very liberating. And but it's also like nothing, like you don't have anything to equate it to, right? So it's like the understanding and clarity as it shows up. It's like it's a whole new world, and
Yes.
going, wait a minute, holy crap, this is so
Yeah.
mind blowing.
A
It's
whole new world will open up to you with a little bit of courage and looking at some of this inner fear. It opens up a whole new world because you can see why some of the things are happening in your reality that's happening. You can see the why, and then you can say, oh, then you got the how. I can, if I'm okay, I can't face that. I'm going to run, and it's okay if you run for a minute, but then just keep going back at it. And every time you look at it and you go, yeah, that's what that is. That's my, yeah, I'm feeling fear. It's like, you know what? I'm not gonna let this fear overtake me. I'm gonna stand here, put my courage badge on,
Yes.
see what's here. Because a lot of times fear is all wrapped around a bunch of lies we've told ourselves.
Yeah. You know, and then what you said earlier today, that so when you encounter something or you have an experience or an interaction, and going, what you were talking about, like basically like the vibration or the, you know, and so it's meeting that. So it's that experience is showing up because, you know, I call it unwittingly creating.
Well, you're creating inadvertently. You're inadvertently creating situations that are fearful, and because that fear is within you. And that's why, you know, when you're looking out there, a lot of places they call it Maya. It's an illusion because it's just you reflected out into the world. So when you're looking out there and then something, you know, upsets you, it's like, well, no, it's not out there. There's something within you that got touched that you don't feel good about yourself, or something that's embarrassed you because you don't feel good about yourself. And that's why you feel the way you do, not because of what someone else did or said.
Yeah.
Yes, some people can be harsh to you, but if you don't have that fear of not being good enough within you, you would just look at it and go, wow, you're in a bad mood.
Yes. It's like, it doesn't snag your ego, right? As
Right.
like it just, there's no attachment to it. There's nothing that it can grab hold of.
Right. It doesn't get you.
Exactly.
And I think this is really good about coming up in families. You know, we were just talking about how you two have a long history together as sisters, and that y'all have fears that kind of commingle. So you've got every now and then the fear will show up in a layer cake type deal where it's both of your fears, you know, in one thing because you're together a lot. And we talked about how, you know, and when that shows up, it's just like a river that has a lot of momentum in it, you know, and just sticking your toe in there. Oh, there's my nephew. It's just sticking your toe in there. Sorry, guys. Nephew. It's sticking your toe in there and slowing down the momentum of that fear, because you're going to have some that are entwined together. And this works in families. Like you can have a family that everybody has the same fear. Well, that's the one that keeps showing up for everybody. And so as family, you know, once you can, you know, look at that dragon, know it's there, then it's like, okay, we know that's there. Then when it shows up, it's like, yep, there it is. Yep. And you know what? We don't have to be afraid of that. We're still here. You know, we're going to be okay, and then think good thoughts and move forward. And that's why once you start doing this work, it does start affecting everybody around you in a good way. Because once your fear starts dropping down, your capacity to be kind and loving to others increases, because people are only ugly when they're scared and they're in fear.
Right.
That's the only time that they act like that.
Happy people aren't mean.
No.
It's just how it works, man.
It is how it works. It is.
And I know that like happiness is a state of mind and all of that, but yeah, it's the whole, it's me.
It is.
It's so mind-blowing and so cool.
It is. And that's the message we want to relate to everybody. You know, yes, it's hard to do, but the rewards are immense, and it's just so much better living in a space of understanding that fear is the problem and love is the answer.
Yeah.
That's what's going to help you move on with your life and get out of these stuck places that you don't want to be in. So yes, it is a challenge and it takes work, but you know what? Nothing in life worth having is easy or free. So I think with that, and thank you both for coming on the front row seat to talk to everybody. I think that we've got a good piece out for everybody, and everybody's busy these days working, so we'll make it short and sweet. And yes, it's hard, but it's so worth it. And I'm so glad that I've been on this journey and all the friends I'm meeting along the way.
Yeah.
It's been quite the journey. So maybe we can do this again really soon and have you both come back again.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for what you bring and sharing your wisdom and your experience and your knowledge and the kindness that you offer, the love that you share. Truly, it's remarkable and it's beautiful. And we are very grateful.
Absolutely. And, you know, I just want to say to everybody makes the world a better place. So, yes, thank you for having me today. And because this is out of my comfort zone. So,
Carol is facing her strengths. She's an introvert, and here me and Pamela, extroverts, we drug her on the front row.
oh, thank you.
We commend you, Carol. She has her courage badge on. She's getting the gist of it. Yep. Say bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for having us.